Some people call Roslin Chapel a Bible in stone or a book in stone because all the sculptures in the chapel tell a story of some inscription carved into it.
Roslin Chapel's entrance was more modest than Langdon expected. The small wooden door had 2 iron hinges and a simple oak sign which read, R-O-S-L-I-N. Entering the chapel with Sophie, Langdon felt his eyes reaching across the famous sanctuary and taking it all in. Every surface in the chapel had been carved with symbols: Christian cruciforms, Jewish stars, Masonic seals, Templar crosses, cornucopias, pyramids, astrological signs, plants, vegetables, pentacles, and roses. Roslin Chapel was a shrine to all faiths, to all traditions, and above all, to nature and the goddess.
Everything you see in Roslin Chapel is open to interpretation. People have lots of different opinions about the chapel. I would recommend you make up your own mind about what you see in there. You find all sorts of symbols and images inside the chapel, not just Christian ones. People say there's a strong pagan influence on the building. Images from the Celtic tradition, Norse mythology, some say Freemasonry and Knights Templar, and all these images exist side by side in Roslin Chapel. In between the top of the ceiling and the floor, you will see there's a row of plants there. This has been identified as sweet corn, and it's a bit of a mystery how this sweet corn came to be carved there. It wasn't a plant known to Scotland at the time of Roslin Chapel's construction in 1200 AD. It doesn't grow indigenously there. The theory is that examples of sweet corn and other plants were brought back from the New World by the founder's grandfather, Sir Henry St. Clair. He's thought to have crossed the Atlantic in the 1390s, about 100 years prior to Columbus, in from Orton, Scotland. The thing that Roslin Chapel was most famous before a certain book was published, was the apprentice pillar. It is distinctive from all the other pillars in the chapel in that it has vines running all the way around it, from top to bottom. There's all sorts of stories and theories about the apprentice pillar, the most famous of which that the Holy Grail was buried inside it. It's a long-standing legend at Roslin Chapel. People say it's buried in the pillar, on top of the pillar, or underneath the pillar. The green men are a bit of a mystery. People can agree on what the green men represent. It's generally thought as some sort of pagan fertility symbol. Some say they are some sort of deity worshipped by stonemasons, designed to bring good luck to the chapel. It's not unusual to find them in religious buildings. Lots of places right across Europe have examples of green men inside them. The strange thing about Roslin Chapel is that there are so many of them. At last count, there was 109 in Roslin Chapel. This one is touching the knees. The other one has one hand at the shin and one hand at the chest. These poses and positions are thought to be associated with Freemasonry. They are known as the Masonic angels, especially the ones along the back wall of the chapel. It's said that Roslin Chapel and its creators, the St. Clair family, have a strong association with Freemasonry in Scotland. For many years, the head of the St. Clairs at Roslin was the Grand Master, the head of the Freemasons in Scotland. It was a hereditary title which was passed down through the family. Roslin Chapel remains a very important location to Freemasons to this day. Some people believe Roslin is the birthplace of modern Freemasonry as we know it today. They say the Holy Grail is buried in Roslin. Depending on which authors you read, the Ark of the Covenant is buried in Roslin Chapel. Pieces of the True Cross, skulls from the Holy Land, Scotland's missing crown jewels are all associated with Roslin Chapel. Every day the Chapel Trust receives a request to dig the chapel up, and every day their requests are refused.
The Holy Grail neath ancient Roslin waits, the blade and chalice guarding o'er her gates.
See